Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pipeline Podcast. I'm Kevin, your host. Go ahead, boys.
Oh, Camrin here, the co-host.
That was amazing, Camrin. I really appreciate you coming in that strong. That was.
Oh, hell
I can't even
yeah.
Hot.
I can't even keep adding myself in at this point.
So
I'm
good.
just a peasant.
So good.
Present
I
to
wanna-
that.
I want to throw a quick thing out there because this is going to bring up a good memory. Kevin, do you remember about this time last year the Halloween Skittles that you gave me, and I raged because I didn't know about the flavor.
You got
and while
so
we were playing
mad.
Rainbow,
You
I
got
was
so
angry.
mad. It was so funny.
Skittles released a new thing this year, and it's not mystery flavor. 15% of the bag is a super sour Skittle, and I tested it last night because I was wondering. I bought a bag of sour Skittles, you know, the ones covered in the malic acid, and a bag of those. Dude, the single Skittle that is in that mystery sour Skittle package fucked my world compared to these things.
Hold on, because you're not telling the story right. So, Cameron and I are sitting on my couch, and I'm like, "All right, Cameron," because I was saving this package.
Oh no, I was talking about the new pack that came out this year.
Okay.
Yeah, the new pack is sour instead of gross tasting Skittles this year. And the sour Skittle is more sour than their sour Skittles, which surprised the fuck out of me. But go ahead, go tell the story, the original story of about the Skittles.
It's so good. It's so good. So, we're sitting on the couch, and I've been saving these bad boys for a while because I tasted one and it ruined my fucking year, so I put it away. Never touched it again. Well, Cameron comes over. I'm like, "Hey, Cameron, you want a Skittle?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll take a Skittle." So I give him a handful of these Skittles. A couple out of this handful were probably just super nasty. He just fucking dips this whole handful in his mouth. Starts going to town. I'm like, I look at him with my jaw dropped. I'm like, "Cameron." He looks at me and he's like, "What?" I go, "Bro, you're supposed to take them one at a time. You need to experience each flavor. You need to savor that flavor." He goes, "No, dude, this is how I always eat Skittles." I go, "No, bro, this is a new flavor. You gotta fucking do it." He goes, "Why?" I didn't want to fucking spoil it for him. But at this point, in my head, I was thinking there are more shitty flavored Skittles in his mouth than not. So he's got to taste it by now. Nope. Apparently it's not. So he's like, "All right, fine, I'll do it." Yeah, he eventually caves. I didn't even need to say anything. I was surprised. I hand him a couple more Skittles, and he's like, "Fine, here, look." And he takes a bite of one. He's like, "That's fine." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." He takes another one. He's like, "This is pretty good." I'm like, "Oh my god." And he takes another one. He's like, "This tastes like pomegranate." And in my head, I'm like, super pissed off. I'm like, this motherfucker probably ate all the bad Skittles in with the good Skittles. Because there was little to none of this package left. So I'm like, what the fuck? Well, we're playing our game. I can't remember what game we were playing, but we were playing a game.
It was Rainbow Six.
He goes down. He's like, "Can I have another Skittle?" I'm like, "Sure, man." So I hand him a Skittle and he eats it. And he's like, "Damn, this one tastes weird." And 2 minutes later, he's like, "Jesus Christ, why does it taste so weird?" And I'm like, "What?" And I clicked in my head what had happened. I fucking died. He had gotten the really bad tasting one, but he got so mad because the match was so intense. And he's like, "Why is this fucking my mouth up? What is going on?" He's like, "The Skittle is terrible. Why is it this bad?" He spits out.
It got to a point too. The best part is the first time I had a bad one too. In my head, I was just like, "Wow, that Skittle kind of tasted gross. It wasn't terrible. That was just a crap flavor." And I kept going, ate a few more, and then I got another bad one, and that's when I started getting mad. I was like, "Why are these getting worse? What is happening?" And I see Kevin laughing after the third bad Skittle, and I'm yelling at him. I'm like, "What'd you give me?" Kevin,
What is this? I lost it.
And then,
I
like,
lost it.
we get near the end of the match, and then, like, the fourth one I put in my mouth, I start chewing up, and I go, no! I pull it out of my
I
mouth.
was dying. This whole time, I, like, stopped playing the game. I was laughing so hard. It just, like, it was so funny to me that it took him
I
this
just got
long to
so
finally
mad.
get to a gross one, and it just, like, why is it so bad?
And it kept finally explaining the package of Skittles to me, and I was like, okay, that's funny. That makes sense. And that's when I started calming down. But he just gave me, like, expired Skittles, and I was like, really mad about it.
It's fucking great. I love it. I love how this is starting out, but that is not our topic about candy and thoughts and tricks and tater tots.
It is not.
No.
I wish it was. I wish
Shut
it was.
Shut
I
up.
wish you guys had been on game chat, so all the 3 random teammates could just hear Cameron freaking out the whole time.
Just screaming.
And then
I
once
think
it
we were
goes
gonna party
down,
with somebody, and they were just like, "What's happening?" And I'm like, "This is so good!" Like I'm just screaming.
one of them just like goes down here, Cameron just, why is it so bad? He's like,
Well, what we're going to be talking about today are 2 movies that came out this year. One we kind of just want to get out there because Cameron and I watched it and wanted to put our thoughts out there. Another one is one that's very famous right now.
Is it?
I guess so. I mean, it brought in millions at the box office. I think like 400 mil.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
pretty crazy. It was
I
pretty
gotta
crazy.
look it up.
And this little movie is called Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. But before we get into our thoughts on that, I want to talk about Free Guy first. So if you don't mind, Jason, you want to hear our thoughts on Free Guy?
No.
Yeah, of
Just
course. It
kidding.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you want to or not. I'm still
Yeah,
going
I
to talk
kind
about
of stuck here. Yeah,
it. Yeah, you're
kinda
I'm,
have to.
I'm holding you verbally hostage. Cameron, do you want to start off on this one? I mean, you have more to say, like nice things to say.
Yes. So like, Free Guy, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it mainly just for the like comedy aspect. That's mainly what I was focusing on. Like, the story was okay, the comedy was good. The way I explained it to my friends here in Tucson today, because Vicky was letting me know that she had like bought it from Disney's online thing. Like, she subscribed to this weird movie of the month thing. And so she bought Free Guy because that was Disney's movie of the month. I explained to her, I'm like, it's basically like if Deadpool was PG-13. Like, that's the comedy you kind of get out of it.
I would say
It's
like
like-
Ready Player One with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. You know what I'm saying? Like I get
Yeah. it's a Disney-fied Ryan Reynolds movie. Like, if you've seen normal Ryan Reynolds movies, he's like very out there and very like vulgar. It's Disney-fied. It's still really good. Ryan Reynolds does a really good job, and I appreciated it. I liked it a lot. There's a lot of like cameo things that happen in there. They have famous YouTubers and Twitch streamers jump in there. Jacksepticeye pops up like 3 times in the movie.
That was
Every
surprising.
time he popped up. Yeah, every time he popped up, it like blew my mind. I looked at Kevin and I was like, it's Jacksepticeye.
It's Jacksepticeye.
I thought it was neat.
I liked it. I liked it to a point. Because this movie's got flaws, ladies and gentlemen. This movie's got flaws upon flaws. But no movie's perfect. So I thought I'd give it a chance. I didn't realize that this would be like a full-on love story, which is kind of dumb of me because of the trailers. But I didn't want to ruin, because trailers nowadays give out like they put the film in 2 minutes. Like, they go through each stage of the film and you understand everything by the end of the trailer. So I didn't want that. So I only watched like a teaser for it. That's what got me hyped. I was like, all right, Free Guy looks cool. When the teaser came out of him just walking through that city, that was nice.
Yeah.
I got hyped. The thing about this movie that I don't like in particular is how it has the same problems that Ready Player One does, in the sense of like, these people don't understand how a video game works. And like so they create this game, and it's GTA on steroids, I guess. You could do anything. You could rob like bag stores at your free will. You could, I don't know, go get coffee, do what you can in GTA 5 basically, but like you're in the game. right?
Yeah,
Oh no, it's a computer game.
Yeah, it's a computer. It's like GTA 5. GTA 5 is on the computer, but it's GTA 5 if GTA 5 had more ability to control your character further. What I mean by that is basically controlling your character almost like a real person, but on a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
You're controlling your character to the degree of almost virtual reality, but on a mouse and keyboard. That's basically the difference.
It's really cheesy because it's a romance film. Like, this lady in the real world falls in love with this Ryan Reynolds AI. I'm just going to call him the AI.
And nobody knows he's an AI because he ends up breaking, the AI will server or whatever it
Apparently,
is, and starts going on his own. So everybody thinks he's a player.
Eventually in the film, I think they all acknowledge that he is an AI. Like,
Yeah. They all eventually acknowledge that he is an AI. But for the longest time, none of them put it together. Like, even when he was spelling it out to the girl that was falling in love with him, like, basically just spelling out that he was an AI, she was still like, what?
you're an AI.
Like,
The
they
girl
go on
in this
a
movie
date
for how
where
smart
they're
she
eating
is.
ice cream.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
For how smart
They go
the
on-
girl is in this movie, she's really dumb. Like,
Yeah,
really
they go
dumb.
on a date to eat ice cream, and the entire time, Ryan Reynolds' character is like, yeah, this is my favorite flavor ice cream, and he's just eating it, and he's like moaning as he's eating, and the whole time she's just kind of looking at him like, is he like pretending to enjoy his food like over his mouse and keyboard? And I'm just like, how have you not, with all this shit you've gone through with him and everything he has said, how have you not put together that he is legitimately enjoying ice cream in this game? Like,
Yeah, not only that, but he's always there. Like, he's always there.
Yeah.
And I know there are people who have no life. But apparently they designed the game themselves. They designed the program for the game themselves. And this company stole their code and put it in their game. And apparently, her AI is so advanced that it can learn in the game. It can learn and know.
it's its
and feel
actual
human
first
emotions.
functioning artificial intelligence, like
Yeah.
self-sustaining
That is true.
artificial intelligence.
There was Hello Neighbor, or whatever that game is.
No, you're right. You're right. Hello, neighbor.
Yeah, so put
sorry,
some
taking a
respect on
drink.
that name. Thank you.
But
It's
no,
trying its best.
apparently this company took her code and programming for the AI, and they put it in their game. And there's a moment in this, because they explain that her love interest in the real world has he works for him, and he kind of gave most of the coding away that they worked on together, and this company took it. Well, later on in the movie, oh my god, Ryan Ray and the bitch he's in love with, they're looking out of his window, and they're looking at the blinds. He was like, "But watch this. You want to see something cool?" And he turns his blind. He shuts his blinds a little bit. And you could see an island and waterfalls in the reflection of the fucking blinds. And the girl's like, wait a minute. That's not right. And he's like, what? He's like, they took our coding and hid it under the game. And I'm like, you do understand that he didn't have to steal your whole game, your whole game to put it in the coding. You just had to take the AI's coding and put it into the game. But apparently how they think coding works is you have to take somebody else's program and hide it under your program. You have to mask
It's kind of
it.
it's almost the way they kind of explained it is very first GTA game, to make the second one they had to overlay the first game's code with the second one, and so on and so forth. That's kind of how they were displaying this.
But they overlaid the maps.
Overload. Yeah, and I guess they were talking about releasing a second version of the game that they're all in, and they were talking about how like those servers are going to have to shut down because they're going to overlay the new game on top of the code, and it's just so odd.
It's really weird. So once fucking Ray I and this bitch figure out how to stop the big bad, I'm just kind of skipping through this because I want to get to the meat of this podcast. Sloppy meats. But Ray I and this bitch find out how to stop the big bad. The big bad gets all mad, goes destroying. It's pretty rad.
The server terminals.
Yeah, it's pretty. I was trying to rhyme, but you know, whatever. Anyway, he goes in instead of being like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep this game open because it's gonna make us money anyway. Every time people log on, it has to make a company money, right? Like that's how you determine financial gain from a video game, is how often your player base gets on and off of it. So
not only that, but I guarantee you that there's in-game like currency.
Oh yeah,
microtransactions. Yeah, like there's probably so much of that going on, and like the in this universe that the movie takes place in, that game is like the biggest thing on the planet. Like even news channels talk about it constantly.
Which is so weird. Like they had nothing else to do apparently.
It's not like they had to get a second game out to keep up revenue. They were making fuck tons of money from this game, apparently.
Oh yeah, tons. And they even had ads in the video game. Ads in the video game. Like sponsors. This is the fucking got it, can't forget our product placements. Throughout this video game. So you know they're making bank.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand what this thought process when they find out, oh my god, I have to destroy the servers. For some ungodly reason, they're like, we have to destroy the servers. This big boss man goes up to the server room with an axe. And instead of thinking, let's just unplug everything and save tons of money, fuck that. Chaos! And then it just starts going like him smashing each of the servers in that server room. And I'm going, dude, you are wasting so much money. If I were a CEO, I would fucking fire you. You'd be out, a lawsuit would happen. Oh my god, it'd be so fast. Because that's just not...
Not only that, I like how he destroys every single server terminal too. And, you know, through plot armor, the last one he doesn't hit is the one Ryan Reynolds is running off of.
Right? There was a scene that I did appreciate though, and it was the Captain America reference that they did. That was
the Captain America cameo. It's my favorite scene because he blocks a punch from a buffer Ryan Reynolds guy. He blocks a punch with Cap shield, and it cuts to fucking Chris Evans just watching it on his phone, and he goes, "What the shit?"
He was about to say fuck, but it like cut off.
It's so good.
It was all right.
I like the movie's comedy. Like you're right. Like it's the realism's really off, and like none of it really makes sense. Like that wouldn't happen in real life. But
it's just a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
There really was just a lot of plot holes, and I mean, like it wasn't really well written. There were a lot of moments that I thought. Like, what news station broadcasts a video game shutting down? Seriously? Like, I've heard of, like, huge servers being shut down for video games. And, like, I don't know, Club Penguin, you didn't see fucking national television news stations being like, oh my god, Club Penguin's shutting down. Let's go check in what's going on in Club Penguin servers. It just doesn't happen. But, I mean, like, the YouTube cameos were fine. I think they were a little forced at the end, but they were fine.
Yeah, they were fine. They were good.
It was neat to see Jack in like a movie. That was pretty neat.
My favorite thing about that too is like before that movie became a thing, Jacksepticeye was able to like solidify an interview with Ryan Reynolds after the second Deadpool movie. So seeing Jacksepticeye like make an appearance in a Ryan Reynolds movie just makes me feel like that. Because of that interview, they've gained a somewhat relationship out of it, like a good friendship. Because, like, I remember Jack talking about it when he had like got the interview, and he was like super excited to meet Ryan Reynolds. He was like, we recorded the interview already. I was just so nervous. I was super excited. I was shaking, and like I guess at the end of it all, they became good friends. I'm like, that's really neat.
Yeah, that is neat. But if I were to rate... Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, I had found this story not too long ago. It happened a long time ago, and it's like barely surfacing on the internet now. But back when Andrew Garfield was playing Spider-Man, I guess there was a moment where Andrew Garfield and Ryan Reynolds were sitting together over at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And Andrew Garfield looks at Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds and one other guy are in the running of winning an Oscar. And Andrew Garfield looks at Ryan Reynolds and he goes, "Hey, if you win the Oscar, instead of kissing your wife and standing up to go get it, you should kiss me instead." And Ryan Reynolds was like, "All right, deal. Definitely want to do that. We're going to do that." Played it off as a giant joke. And Ryan Reynolds ended up not winning the Oscar, and it was very sad. And so Andrew Garfield looked over at him and he was all, we could still do the thing. We could still kiss. And Ryan Reynolds was like, he was game. He was down. And so there's a picture on the internet of the crowd, a picture of the crowd being taken at the Oscars when whoever won the Oscar for whatever prize it was. And in the very far background, you could just see Ryan Reynolds and Andrew Garfield just making out in like the background of the picture. Like just go into town, and I'm like, that's fucking gold.
That's pretty great.
Andrew Garfield's living every man's dream.
Oh,
dude, he really was.
Spoilers for those of you who haven't seen Free Guy. I'm going to spoil it right now. Ryan Reynolds is a love letter to the main girl of the movie, apparently, from the main character guy in real life. He was like, "I am a love letter to you." He had to say that, as if him not liking the same foods
spell it out to her
as her, as if him not liking the same books and movies and songs that she did wasn't enough to spell out, "Hey, this AI was made for you, idiots. Hey, your boyfriend working on the game right now in that company has made this AI for you. For you. He works there. He works there. And you don't put it together until the AI has to tell you, you code! You code!
You go.
Talk about fucking spelling it out, goddamn!
Alright, I think we need to jump on the main topic here.
Nope, I gotta rate it.
He has some really good ideas. Oh, yeah, we gotta rate it.
Yep, I'd rate it 4 out of 10.
Give it a 7.
4 out of 10. A 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You enjoy everything.
I do.
What's wrong with that, Kevin?
I'm very
What's
easy
wrong
to
with
please.
that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I've just pointed out the fact.
You can dangle a string in front of me, and I'll give you a solid 6 out of 10.
You're not that dumb.
He's not dumb. He's just easy to please. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I'm easily entertained. I enjoyed it for a bit, then I realized it was repetitive.
That's a lot of games though. Like secretly, they're all just repetitive garbage.
Yeah, it's true. At the end of the day,
so are the Assassin's Creed games.
No,
you shut up. You shut up.
I'm sorry, they're boring. We'll get into that another day.
No, I refuse.
Think about that another day.
I like the history stuff. I think that's
nice.
It's
really good. I like the story of Assassin's Creed itself.
This is what you started, Kevin. This is what you started.
No,
yeah.
We're moving on.
Nope.
We're moving the fuck on.
I love that you can just sit there and be like, I kind of want to learn a little about this place, and you can just casually look it up in game. And it gives you a little rundown of what goes down.
I don't like your attitude, alright? I'm going to have to ask you to knock that shit off.
I don't like you.
Yeah. Calm down, sir. You insulted my childhood. Now it's on.
No, I'm about to insult your childhood even more. I did not like Venom!
Camrin. I was like, I found this game.
Yeah, Jason found Assassin's Creed for like $3 at GameStop. It was before it was getting big. I guess when the first game came out, it was like dying really hard, and Jason bought it. And he was like, you should check this game out. It's really cool. And we're sitting there playing it. I'm like, wow, that is really cool. And there's a whole bunch of like hidden lore and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get me a copy of that. And then by the time I went to get a copy, it was already like $30 again. I was like, what the fuck?
I
was
don't.
there before it was cool.
I don't like the Assassin's Creed series, and I don't like Venom 2. Let there be carnage.
I originally gave Venom 2 like a 5 out of 10, but I think after I read some stuff, I was more content with it. I'm willing to push it to Cameron's ranking of like a 7.
I'm my whole standpoint on Venom, Let There Be Carnage. If you enjoyed the first Venom movie, you will enjoy the second one. That's all I gotta say about it.
Okay,
like,
Kevin.
You know, it coming off like the standpoint of like Spider-Man isn't very relevant in this universe. Like it makes sense.
We're
the
doing
direction
spoilers though, right?
Yeah.
He
Throw
about
up that
to be.
spoiler sign.
He
Slap it on the
about
screen
to
right now.
be.
Spoilers. Smack my thigh and say,
Smack that sticker on screen. Spoilers.
like the fucking Tabusca symbol, you know.
We always have to. Well, I didn't tell my rate. I did not like this movie. And
Why?
sitting
Well,
back and
obviously.
thinking about it,
What was your big?
I still don't like
made you
this.
not like it.
they fucked up Cletus. Goddamn Cassidy, I'm rating it a fucking 5 out of 10. Liked it more than Free Guy. No, I'll rate it
They
a
really
6.
did. They kind of butcher Cletus.
After that
I like
ending,
how Kevin's convincing himself.
after that ending, it was worth the watch. But to sit through all the garbage as a fucking Carnage fan,
Give it 8 minutes, Cameron. He'll go to an 8. Just
no, I've given it a 6. I'm giving it a 6.
Okay.
That's a 6. Now we're slap that spoiler sticker on now, because we're about to talk about some major spoilers.
So one thing that I had to do after watching this film, I was like, there's got to be a source material that they really draw from that made them like go this route, because there's no way they just go off the board like this. And there's like this Carnage series that came out in like the early 90s that was really popular. And I think that's what they were drawn off. I can't think exactly what it's from. I also was reading Superior Carnage, which I think is a route they could have taken, but I'll get to that a little later. But like the whole relationship with Francis wasn't horribly done, because I think that's a big issue that we were having when we were at the theater, right? Was Cletus and Francis and Carnage's love triangle issue that they were going through.
Yeah, it was basically what the issue we were having was in most interpretations that we all kind of pulled from in Carnage. Cletus was more in love with Carnage than anything else and didn't really give two shits. And like Kevin had explained at one point that he did have a girlfriend, and Carnage killed his girlfriend in front of him, and Cletus just kind of like laughed about it. Like, yeah, he was mad at Carnage, but not mad enough to like separate from him, like how he was doing when Carnage was attacking his girlfriend in this movie. He was trying to separate from Carnage.
Yeah, it's just like Cletus really enjoyed killing. To take that away for nothing, I can't think of a real reason to just fuck Cletus up that bad, because this is the biggest problem I have.
I can tell you the reason right now, Kevin. I can tell you the exact reason why they did that. They had done that because throughout the entirety of the movie, Carnage was 100% stronger than Venom. There was no competition. Venom was constantly getting his ass whooped, and he could not compete. So they had to put it away, Venom to win, and it was her. Yes, Venom was getting his ass kicked. If she wasn't involved, Venom would have died. 100%. Like, you can't change my mind. Venom would have lost because she wasn't involved.
He did hold his own for a while, though.
For a while, but then he still got his ass. He started getting his ass whooped still. Like, he held his own, but he didn't do damage to Carnage. Carnage was just like, oh, what the fuck, and just smacked him around. If it wasn't for Cletus's love interest, Carnage would have definitely won. That's the whole. I feel like 100%. That's the only reason she was in there, was to make it to where Venom could win.
Well,
she was a plot armor device to allow Venom to win. That's
a really
100% reason why I think
that's the
she's there.
shittiest thing about her.
But
I
in
know,
the
that's what I'm
comic
saying.
series that I'm talking about though, like there's a few that she's in. They're named Shriek, and she actually is a very prevalent role in that. And she goes through like great lengths to make sure that Carnage and Cletus always like reunite and stuff. Like what's the blonde chick's name? Eddie's ex-wife or whatever. She plays like a similar role to her in the comics, but she also has superpowers and all this stuff. So there's actually this love that Carnage has for her, like Venom does for that blonde chick.
Okay.
So yeah,
but they didn't have it in this movie. Carnage
That's what I'm
despised
saying.
her. He didn't get two shits.
Yeah, because of her sound abilities. Basically, is the only reason he had an issue with her, which makes sense, I guess. They had to mess it up. That's why I think they could have gone more superior Carnage route.
Well, they threw away the potential for anything else Carnage. For anything else Carnage.
Unless there's like a piece of Carnage that ended up on her.
He always regenerates.
That bell falls on her. That fell on her, but it didn't
that
like
cop with the blue eyes at the end. Like, what was that?
I got you. I know what that is.
You know what it is?
Wait, can I wait? Hold on. Can I have a little rant to explain to the audience what that means?
The blue eye thing, like you.
Oh
what
yeah,
it means,
I know what it is.
You know what it is. Hold that thought, because I do want to know.
Okay.
I just want to say.
Okay.
This movie, for some reason, at the very end, this cop, like, he appears to be dead. He's on this fucking piece of steel bar, and he's just laying there lifeless, and then his eyes glow blue. Nothing in this movie had anything of the sort of blue powers. No blue auras. Nothing. And they bring this as like
just kind of happened.
A smidge.
A
little bit, though. It's a smidge. Yes, okay. I'm going to just cut you off, because I know what's going on. Shriek? Now she has one blind eye?
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever she activates her powers, it like faintly glows in the blind eye, which is a callback to the comics.
Did she put her powers in the cop?
So what she has is a very like low level psionic set of abilities. So like her scream does more than just do concussive force. Like in the comics, she also has an ability to slightly influence people. So like it affects the like deepest reaches of like their emotions and stuff, and she can have some sort of like mind control with it.
Oh, so she brainwashed this boy basically.
For any casual audience member, they would never guess that. They would be like, "What? So that was paranormal?"
Yeah, no. When we all watched it, we're all confused.
A little thing like that. Yeah, that's why I was like, "There's gotta be more going on than like me." Like, there's no way.
Oh yeah.
They definitely didn't spell it out very well. Is what I'm getting at. Like every single one of us were like, "What was that about?" Like even Kayla, who's a big Venom, Deadpool, Carnage fan, like even she was like, "What is that? Like, what is that supposed to be?"
Carnage and Cletus in the comics. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Okay, so like the early '90s comic and referencing, like, that's gonna be hard for like any of us to have like known about.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, it's not one of like the newer stuff, like Superior Carnage or anything. That would probably be more everyone's route.
Superior Carnage is so dope.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling Kevin's main draw was from at that point. So I think with the bell falling on her in that way, and the guy with the cop with the blue eyes, I think he's gonna get out of that. And I'm curious if there's like a bit of Carnage on Shriek that survives.
Now that would be very interesting.
Because she does have a run in the comic series where she also becomes Carnage.
Is Shriek like white-haired in the comics?
I don't know. She might be. I was like reading
because I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't. I vaguely remember her, just like very vaguely.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the hair color. It's been a few weeks since I've like watched the person do like this rundown of all the pages. But yeah, so like her power set's interesting. I think they were trying to keep it obscure.
So Carnage or Venom in this movie, the thing is
I
with
liked it.
this Venom is
I liked
that
Venom.
they have that because it's PG-13. One of the reasons Carnage or Venom will never work on screen is the rating. If that doesn't go up, there's really not a lot of hope because every Venom or Carnage novel you will ever read is way more brutal than anything shown in video games or like TV. I just want it to get to that level. I want the stakes to be high enough to where we're like, oh shit, if he's not stopped, people are dying brutally all the time. It needs to be serious.
Sorry to cut you off for a minute, but it just happened to me, so I just need to make sure the fidelity of your controller, because my controller just turned.
I get you. Thank you.
Just throwing it out there real quick. Sorry to cut you off, but continue.
So the first movie, the problem I had with Venom and Eddie is their relationship between like, you can't eat bad guy heads. I want to eat bad guy heads. Well, you can't eat bad guy heads. Like, what's so wrong? Nobody's gonna care seeing Venom or Carnage on screen eating bad guy heads. If anything, that'll make them way more prominent to come to the next showing because it was so brutal. Because that's what people who like Carnage or Venom want to see.
Not only that, but at the very end of the first Venom movie, he does eat a guy's head.
It happens. And the shitty
He was
part
at the very end of the first movie. Like,
I can
Eddie
understand
was
that
completely
issue.
fine with it.
Yeah, because that's like a morally like ambiguous type of like realm, but then he kind of throws it away when he's like, "All right, look, if you save her, you can eat everyone here."
Yeah.
You can
And Venom's
eat
like,
everybody.
"Everyone?" Yeah.
It's like, except that guy points to the. So he bites this freaking. Nah, I'm not even gonna pretend it. We had a couple of technical difficulties there. I was gonna try to. I totally said it wrong. I was because we left off on where Carnage ripped off the Pope's head, but then I was talking about Venom when we cut off. So then I come back and I'm like, then he rips the Pope's head off. That's not what the fuck happens. I was like, God damn it, I messed it up. So,
Yeah, no, like what I was saying, the end of the Venom movie, it shows him bite off a bad guy's head. So I don't know why it was a big deal that he couldn't in the second one. I don't know why it was
PG-13, that's why. Like that.
Well, like I get that, but you don't have to show it on screen. Like what makes it PG-13 is if they show it or not. Like
Well,
they can show the head being removed as long as there's not just a puddle of blood on the floor.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't
Like
care.
just not show the blood. That's like all I ask.
Yeah.
Even if they were to just keep it like he bites the head off, the bodies don't have blood. Fine. I could fucking at least he tears
like
people's heads
cartoons.
off.
It's just like the meat and the random like T-bone.
See, like give him green blood. Give him green blood.
Yeah, you're right.
If it's that big of a deal, because I personally think cussing is a bigger deal than blood. Because like either a kid scrapes their knee, they're gonna see it. They're gonna see it.
Like,
Yeah.
I think when Carnage was first introduced in the comics, like it was just like beautiful for what Kevin wants.
Yeah,
Oh my
it
And
was
I think
straight
because
massacre.
Spider-Man's just like roaming the city, and there's just these like piles of bodies, and
Yep.
Carnage just uses like the blood to just like spell out his name all
Yep.
over the place.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a little odd with the "that's a red one" statement that Venom made.
I didn't think that
Before
was
they
too
started
odd because
fighting?
he came from a planet of symbiotes, so obviously there'd be like a hierarchy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not really, because there's Null, or Null, I forget his name. He's like the main guy that created them all.
yeah.
Yeah, so the red that Carnage has is only red because he bonds with Cletus's blood, whereas Venom bonds with like Eddie's brain. and like his like spine. It's weird, but like that's the only reason Carnage is red apparently. It's just because of how he bonds with Cletus. That's why like I guess he has more like control over like his body with all the like tendrils and stuff. Hold on, what? Jacob?
That was work.
Okay, sorry.
It's terrible.
So that's what I found a little odd, because I think that if the symbiote had just cloned itself again, it could just be any color. I think it's black still until it bonds with Ghost. But I could be wrong.
You are wrong.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now, just because of anti-venom.
Let's do it.
The color is defined on the power.
Okay.
So
Or
like
it's like a generational thing. Like
yeah, because there are
different
green
symbiotes.
symbiotes out there, you know, like green and black symbiotes. But I think the most powerful symbiote out there is like a white formed one, because those are the latest
anti-venom?
generation. Yeah, the
anti-venom
farther
white?
the generations go, the more diverse the symbiote can go, and the more dangerous it is.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why like
So-
Toxin can take down Carnage, but like Anti-Venom can take down Toxin.
Yeah. But so okay. Should we move towards like that superior Carnage thing that I was referencing earlier?
Yeah. All right, let's go for that. I'm just gonna start ranting about the movie if you don't.
Okay. Well, do you want to rant more about the movie? Because
I can go all day.
Direction they could take. All right, just rant about the movie a bit more, and then we'll do like what they could have done different.
Oh, okay, for sure. So,
Yeah.
I don't like a bitchy Venom. I also don't like. They take it more of a comedy
I didn't mind it
stance.
that bad.
I did.
Didn't mind
I don't
it
like a bitchy. I don't like a bitchy Venom.
What about you, Cam? What about you, real quick, before like he goes further? How'd you like that aspect of Venom?
Which aspect? Sorry.
The
Complaining,
the
constant complaining, and like bickering between them.
whininess, wanting to eat.
Oh, so I wasn't very much against it, just for so like I had taken the movie in a completely different aspect, of course, from like Kevin has, for example, just because like Spider-Man isn't like a very big thing in the first Venom movie. He's non-existent. So like I don't see it too big of an issue, Venom having this different personality and or this connection, because he's trying to attach himself to a different group of audience. Like I would get him having more of the negative personality if they had more Spider-Man in it because of Spider-Man and Venom's relationship from like the beginning. Then I would
He
get him
simps for
being
that
more
man.
evil. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't necessarily hate it. I don't hate Venom's attitude throughout these two movies, just because it makes sense. They're making him likable. That's their goal. They're giving him this attitude because they're trying to make him likable. They're trying to make him the protagonist of the story.
In terms of symbiotes, let's just put this out there, because people need to know this. Symbiotes are naturally evil.
Yeah,
Naturally,
That's
by
not 100%
nature,
true either.
evil.
That's exactly 100% true.
They're created by no.
Because it's their survival thing, them eating brains, that's kind of like, they kind of have to do that to survive. That doesn't necessarily make them evil. That's just how they live. The way I've read it on symbiotes and done research on from myself is symbiotes will take on the personality most of first person they ever attach to. So like one of the biggest reasons Venom has a really big attachment to Peter Parker in the stories, it's because one of the very first things Venom ever attached to was a guy that had like a very big justice, like sense of justice.
Yeah.
And so when he attached to Spider-Man, not only did he get that sense of justice back, but he also had a lot more power to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why Venom was very attached to Spider-Man, because he was like,
wow, I got all this power and I get this feeling of wanting to fight crime and justice again. But Venom had also attached himself to so many other people that were angry, were mean, basically, like just bad people. Like that first person he attached, he had a strong sense of justice, but he was straight up evil too. Like he was not a good guy. Yeah. And that's kind of like where Venom stemmed a lot of his personality from. That's another reason why Carnage is straight.
Lost you there.
He's gone. He'll
He's
be
gone.
One thing I just wanted to throw out real fast is, do you think it's intoxicating to be bonded to a superhuman, or was it just because like Spider-Man was Venom's original like first? Or like, do you think Peter having superpowers like adds on to that like interest that Venom has?
I think, well, it obviously has like a dopamine effect. Like you do feel on top of the world while you're like in a symbiote, and it's because you do get drunk off that power. What do you think? Like in the third Spider-Man movie, Peter Parker.
Oh no.
Shut up, Mike. It'll shut up again. Sorry, but I'm back. But
hold on, Cam.
Anyway.
Wait, Cameron. Hold on. Wait, Cameron. Hold on. Let's ask the question. I'm curious.
I went like a rant.
Do you think Venom, the symbiote, finds like Peter more intoxicating to be bonded with than Eddie, or do you think it was only because Peter was his first? Like, do you think the superpowers add on to that, or no?
So one cool thing that I had found not too long ago, there's a scene where Venom and Spider-Man are fighting, and Eddie like says something on the lines of like, you know, Venom's always going to be bonded with me. We're so much stronger than you. Yada yada, just saying all this stuff. And just to prove him wrong, Spider-Man was like, Venom, come back. I want you back. Reattach to me. Let's prove him wrong. And he immediately starts leaving Eddie to attach to Spider-Man. And so Spider-Man was proving the point to Eddie that Venom doesn't care about Eddie. Venom wants Spider-Man more than Eddie any day. But because Spider-Man rejects him, and Eddie has a strong hate for Spider-Man, is why Venom stays with Eddie.
Yes.
Like, that's the only reason why that's a thing in the comics. Because if Spider-Man any day asked for Venom back, Venom would go straight to him. Like, it does not matter.
I want to retract my statement of all symbiotes being naturally evil. I had gotten that from one universe. I read a comic from a specific universe that had said that, like, in that universe, all symbiotes are naturally evil, and it's because something had happened with Null.
Yeah.
Null does have like control over all of them. He's like a dormant being though right now. Like he's not like a
he's a god.
If he is, they become a hive mind type of deal.
Yeah.
So without him being active, they are kind of just free to do their own thing. But they still have some sort of sense of purpose of wanting to like collect information and stuff for him.
Yes.
Gathered from what I was reading.
Cameron's totally correct on the Venom is only evil in the main universe of the comic books. And like most of them, pretty much all of them, but the one that I got that info from. That Venom only doesn't like Spider-Man because after attaching to Spider-Man and attaching himself to Eddie already had this jealousy of Peter Parker. So it amplified that. And it like twisted it into like this murderous rage. So yes. I guess all symbiotes do have their own personality. I guess you learn something new every day, even as a good fan of the series. Kind of disappointed in myself. I'm just kidding.
No, it's fine. It's because like you're not necessarily wrong in that aspect too. That they're all evil because like they do have to eat brains to survive. Like that's it's a
like
thing.
Being selfish. It's probably being selfish.
Yeah, they're more selfish because they would rather kill other people than them die in a sense.
And that probably does fit the movies pretty well because Carnage seemed pretty selfish.
Yeah.
With I always forget his name. Cletus. I always think it's Cassius, and I know it's not Cassius.
You're like mixing his last and first name together with Cassius. Cletus Cassidy.
It freaks me out. Yeah, I'm like, it's not Cassius. Yeah,
Cassius.
Cletus. Like, I don't feel like it would be that hard to just be like, okay, so like if we stand like a few meters away from her, she can use her powers, and then we can go in. Like, I think
Right?
I think it doesn't take a few brain cells, but I think he was like, just selfish on the like whole like if she does it again, I'm gonna just eat her. I think they're just
Well,
hungry.
the other thing too is I think it's also the noise itself. So I think if they're in
It's
hearing
the
distance
vibration
of
and the
vibration,
frequency.
yeah. So I think if they're just in hearing distance of it, it still affects them.
Yes.
So it's
Get her,
very odd.
Get her a cone to just like project her voice out.
Get them
forward.
earmuffs. Okay.
Earmuff. He has to wear like 2 giant earmuffs that cover his whole body. But one thing that we did love in that film that we haven't brought out.
Point. What if
Okay.
the human that the symbiote attacks to was deaf? Like, then are they immortal?
Yeah,
Does it
no.
just not bug them anymore? No.
I think they cure them of everything.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
symbiotes
Hear
can
them.
also talk inside the heads of the people.
What?
Mhm.
They got no ears.
There's
Just fused to the skull.
There's this one iteration of Venom that he does end up like loving Eddie, and so like they stay together for as long as possible. And so what happens is Venom, as Eddie's body continues to break down from old age and stuff, he's just constantly replacing like different cells in his body to the point where he's basically just becoming Eddie. Like he becomes like his neurons even in his brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
For as long as possible. I think they end up running like 500 years together
Jesus.
until Eddie literally is just Venom at that point and can't just.
Back
That's
to
all
Ready
That's all
Eddie
his
Bravo.
body is. No, like he's just gone at that point. His body just can't repair itself enough.
So,
So like yeah, I think is maybe they would if the person was deaf, they could just fix that.
oh, for sure. Oh, god damn it. We had to postpone this shit for another day because we got another fucking technical
another day?
difficulty.
I think it's been a week.
It's been a whole week.
I said another day. Alright. So we had to
Day to
read
the 7th power.
third try. Go. We cut off on basically when we were talking about the movie when you were in Tucson.
Yeah.
We were talking about when the Pope had gotten his head chomped off by Carnage.
Not the Pope. Did the Pope? get
Not
his head
the. It's not the Pope. It's a fucking.
the warden.
no.
wait,
No, wait. We're talking about Venom vs. Carnage at the church.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like the
priest.
the pastor.
Oh, he did.
Priest,
He,
pastor.
He did.
There's
the
a priest somewhere.
pastor?
Pope, priest, pastor. One of the three.
What? He's one of the three, not all three.
Bites his goddamn.
No, he can't
head
be
off.
all three. That's the Holy Trinity, Karen. It's too powerful.
No, but Jason did bring up a really good point that I thought about after we fucked up our audio.
Because I forgot.
it's how fucking Venom was like. The whole series of these two movies, they're bickering about him being able to eat people's heads, but like before they fight, he's like, "Yeah, you could save everybody, or eat everybody if you save her." And he's like, "Everybody?" He's like, "Everybody except that guy." Jason was like, "It kind of just deconstructs the whole morality that they were trying to build."
Oh.
I was like, "Yeah, but that they." At the end of all of it, they go on to be like, no, you still can't eat fucking humans' heads. Like, what the hell?
And I remember I was going on an angry rant about that because at the end of the first Venom movie, Eddie was completely fine with Venom doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where did the change come from? Was
Was
he just
he?
doing it? Yeah. At the
There's
very
the robber.
end. Yeah, at the very end of the Venom movie, the Chinese lady that owns that shop was being robbed by some guy, and he turns into Venom and he eats the guy's head, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's the
So-
ending line
and-
for the trailer.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like Eddie is just a big simp.
no, it sounds to me like the writers
It
are incompetent.
sounds to
and, like,
me like
they
Eddie's a
No.
big simp.
The writers are really trying to keep that PG-13 rating so they draw in more of an audience. But there are still laws that are like, if you go with an 18-year-old, if you're underage, you can still get in.
I hate how they use that logic though. Of let's try to keep it PG-13 so we can get more audience. Look at fucking Deadpool. Dude, Deadpool had huge ratings in box offices. Oh yeah. And you know why?
One of the biggest Marvel
you know
movies
why
out there.
it was? Because all the kids had to say to their parents was that was a superhero movie, and they're like, okay, I'll get you in.
Yeah.
You know, and they get told at the door, it's rated R, right? And they're like, yeah, but it's superhero.
It's a Marvel movie with Ryan Reynolds. What dumb parents think that are hands off?
Even like bad. Like,
no, it wasn't.
I don't know.
From Deadpool,
it was just kind of It was just kind of gory. Like it wasn't horror movie level gory, but it was,
he did pull a ring pop out of his asshole.
I guess I've just been like demolished too many times, but no, like I was like, that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. It could easily just pull some stuff with Venom and make it higher rating. I do agree with Kevin that it should be a higher rating.
Yeah.
But
if you're gonna do the character justice,
silly.
Yeah, if you're gonna do Carnage and Venom justice.
The main conflict of morality is kind of weak. I'd rather see like an identity crisis.
Well, we're at the fight. What did you guys think about the fight?
I like the fight. The fight was really good.
You think so?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I think you've gotten it in the podcast. I don't know if it was edited out, but I did state that one of the big things that they kept 100% accurate is Carnage is stronger than Venom. And even during their entire fight, Venom was trying really hard to stand his own against Carnage, and Carnage was just fucking him up.
I wouldn't say fucking him up. The movie made it seem like
Carnage didn't take damage, dude. Carnage was the whole time just going at it.
Well, he was stronger than Venom, like in broad strength, but there were a couple of times where you'd be like, "Oh, okay, so Venom can do damage."
Yeah, but it was never like significant.
No, it wasn't significant enough.
Like the only reason why Venom would get damage is because of outside interference.
I don't understand why people don't deal with symbiotes with just like C4 or sticky grenades. It's always been in the back of my head whenever a symbiote's brought up, but I'm like, why don't you just throw a fucking C4?
Isn't it a concussion grenade, just a sound wave?
Yeah, and you could immobilize a symbiote with a concussion or a flashbang.
I mean, no.
That they did in the first movie.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, honestly, you can't just kind of walk into a fucking sportsman's and just walk out with a flash grenade. Like,
yeah, you're right. But he was surrounded by SWAT.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he could have been like, hey, can I have one of those? Por favor?
The fight was pretty good. I liked it, but I didn't like how Eddie Brock, like, this guy is small compared to the actor for Eddie, like Cletus.
Yeah.
And whenever like a bell would chime, because they're in the church, the bell started going.
Yeah.
And the symbiote would retract back into their bodies, leaving just them two to fight. Cletus is all like, now it's just mano a mano, and Eddie's just all on the ground, like, out of breath, heaving. He's like, and I'm like, dude, what are you out of breath from?
I just like...
Went up my butt.
I love how...
Venom.
Carnage just went up my butt.
I love how just like out of that whole thing, since Eddie Brock has no fighting experience, Cletus just every time was just whooping his ass.
Like, come on, Eddie, you're fucking 2 times the size of this guy.
Nah, Cletus has that psycho strength, dude.
He's
just mauling.
That retard strength.
No, I was trying to avoid saying that. Yeah, psycho strength, Kevin. Psycho strength.
Retract it, back it up. No,
I can't do that.
Bleep Kevin out with a scream, please.
Well, I really liked the look of Carnage in this movie.
Oh yeah, no,
really
Carnage looked amazing. When I was in Tucson, I just real quick, you can jump back on it. But when I was in Tucson, I had ran into a movie promo drink from G Fuel called Red Ooze and Black Ooze, and it was Venom and Carnage, and it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it a bit. What were you saying, Jay?
Okay, I think the fight would have been better if there was like more coordinated interference from Eddie Brock's ex-wife and her new boy toy. I forget their names. But like, there's a scene where one of them like has like oil and then like lights it on fire and like spills it on Carnage, and I thought that was so neat. I would have wished they had used that to like kind of make him retreat. Like someone brought a gun,
Yeah.
someone brought the flame stuff, so like they open Carnage's body up so they can like shoot Cletus.
Yeah.
I think that would have been really cool to like get the other characters in, because Venom isn't strong enough to take Carnage out by himself. So I would have liked that team effort sort of thing.
The thing that ruined the fight for me is when Cletus and Carnage started bickering. Like, hardcore fucking bickering at each other. Arguing full on during a fight. I'm like, why do you tear my character apart, man? You're tearing this family apart, Sony!
It's because they needed the hero to win.
They needed the hero to win by making a fucking badass villain turn into a pussy!
You're right.
Like, don't kill
Yeah,
him, Carnage! Don't do it! He's like, shut up! I need a host anyway! I mean, like, out of everybody, though, best character in all of this was the Warden.
No, he was not. No, I would have to say, honestly, Cletus by far was my favorite character to watch on screen compared to everybody else. I didn't like the whole love interest thing. I really liked him up until the church. Just because he seemed up until that point to have more he had more connection with Carnage than he did the girl, because like the scene where she does that screech on the helicopter and he stops and he looks at her and he goes, "Don't do that. He doesn't like that."
You're trying to kill him?
Yeah, in my head I was like, "Oh, he's like really attached to Carnage right now, and he's like, you know, fighting his girlfriend
yeah,
about it."
dude, that's a lot of power in your hands.
But they kind of switched it in the whole church scene, which kind of upset me. But literally up until the church, Cletus was my favorite character in the movie. Like, I thought he was portrayed really well. They chose a really good actor to play that character. He did an amazing job. And just his, like, psycho look and his freak-out moments were amazing. I thought he did really well.
I thought it was alright.
I didn't think any of the acting in that movie was bad at all.
No.
The acting was spot on. Even the girlfriend, which is my least favorite character in the whole movie, she's a really good actress. She did a really good job. And... like, it's just, I'm not blaming the actors. The actors did amazing. The writing was just kind of...
The writing was all over the place in this movie. And it's sad because I could tell it wanted to be something more. But when it comes down to it all, I like the first movie better than this one. And it hurts me to say, because I really, from childhood, have wanted to see Carnage on screen. But
I think
it's just more. It's more well done in the first movie between Eddie Brock and Venom's chemistry than it is in this movie. Like, it's more satisfying to see.
I hate... Jason, you were saying something? I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I think what they missed a big opportunity on was like opening up the Spider-Man universe more. Like, we know there's gonna be, what is his name, Morbius, the vampire dude?
Yeah.
Something like that. So we know that's gonna happen. But like, Carnage has like this whole group he assembles in that comic that really heavily involves Shriek.
Yeah.
And that can like pave the way for more symbiotes down the line. I really feel like they cut that off, and that would have been a huge thing for them. That's why like the fight, I don't remember if we have it in the last podcast or not, but I was thinking like they should have Carnage get away. Like, you know, use teamwork, stop him.
Yeah.
And then he goes and like builds up again to like get back at Eddie.
Yeah.
What? One
There
thing
was
I do...
there was already this. Hold on.
Sorry, I didn't know you were still...
Like no, it's good. It's good. There was already this not hatred, maybe. Like, he wanted to go kill Venom. Carnage wanted to kill Venom. Cletus wanted to kill Eddie. So like that pent up rage. But Cletus isn't dumb. So I wish like he could have retreated and like set up a better plan, because I feel like he's a lot smarter than Eddie is. Eddie's just going for the ride.
Oh yeah.
And
especially in
really
this
use
movie,
more elements of that.
I would have loved when the bell started ringing for Carnage to just be like, "Let's get out of here. We need to go now."
Yeah, and forcing him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. One thing that I'd like to bring up in like superhero movies, one thing I had really heard, and it made a lot of sense. There was an interview with Ryan Reynolds where they were talking to him about the second Deadpool movie, and they were asking him like, how did you feel filming the second one and yada yada, and he went on to explain that one of the best things about filming the second movie is the hero is already portrayed. So there is no build up to have to make the hero. The hero already has his lessons learned in the last movie, so he's even better and portrays and takes himself in a better light. So Ryan Reynolds gave a really good example, like description of how a second hero movie should be made. They did not do that with this movie.
No, they didn't.
It's because at the end of the first Venom movie, you see Eddie and Venom getting a really good connection.
Yeah.
Like to the degree where they're sharing the same mindset of, yeah, let's do this. And then it cuts in the second movie to them arguing like a crazy married couple for no reason.
Yeah,
and
it's the whole movie.
Yeah, that's the worst part too, is what Eddie's going through in the second movie was the exact same shit as it was in the first movie. The only difference is he knows what Venom is, so he's not scared about it.
Yeah.
He's just angry about it.
Yeah.
And it's really infuriating because it's like, you went through this in the first movie. You went through all this like problems that you were having with your symbiote in the first movie. Why do you continue having the same problems in the second movie when the first movie was to lead up, build, and finish that?
Yeah.
And that's it. I just wanted to bring up Ryan Reynolds talking about it because it was a really good portray on how hero movies should be made. If there's going to be a second one, you don't need explanation, and you already have the character build up.
Well,
what you're
just
presenting
filler.
in the second movie, is the action.
It's actually, at this point, it's just filler.
Yeah.
Whenever they bickered or argued, I was like, I've seen this. I've already seen this, guys. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And not only that, but I didn't like it that much in the first movie, so why would I like it again in the second movie? When that's most of your movie. They have this whole, like, relationship breakup segment. And I'm like, do we really need to see this? Like I said before, I never wanted to see... I never looked at Venom and was like, he needs to be in a nightclub. And he needs to be, like, boosting that party. Like,
Yeah,
I've never looked at
I
Venom and
did.
been like, party scene, right?
That's the
with
first
this guy
thing I
right now.
said when I saw him.
Oh, God. Worst type of
I was like,
fan.
neon lights, booze,
And
bunch of
insecurity
people.
talk.
Yeah, like, I need it.
It was kind of funny for him to be like, so screw you, Eddie, I'm free. And everybody just blindly agrees. And cheers.
Yeah, they're all like, yeah!
Fuck you, Eddie.
There's like one guy in the crowd named Eddie, and he's like, "What the fuck, guys?" It's just so weird to have that kind of portrayed though, and it was very like confusing to have to like rewatch their relationship rebuild. Like I'm trying to think of another hero movie that did that. You could probably say one of the X-Men movies. But then I could probably argue with you that, at one point Wolverine had his fucking mind wiped. Like that
Batman v
that's
Superman,
why.
but DC films aren't really
Well, yeah. No,
well done.
Well, you can say Batman v Superman. Batman, though, that actor's Batman, that was his first...
No, I'm talking about
like,
Superman.
Oh, Superman?
Like, Man of Steel to Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Superman learned absolutely nothing.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's the same man he started with. Like, there was no... Because that's the thing movies need to get down is, like, if there's no progression, nobody's attached. If there's no, like, lesson that the character learns, if there's no...
backing up on that, that's the worst part, is in the first Venom, there was a thing for him to learn. Yeah. And he did learn from it.
But the writers...
he does not take it in the second movie.
The writers were just like, what do we do for a second one? Obviously, we need to put one out there. And they were like, well, let's put Carnage in it. But that's the only thing that they, like, it was noteworthy to them. They were like, all right, just put Carnage in it. And they're like, what do we do with the rest of the movie? Like, what do we do with him in there? He was like, oh, let's just have him as the B plot. And then the A plot is Venom and Eddie.
They should have they should have made Cletus and Carnage the A plot. I feel like they should have been the main characters of the movie, and then Venom is the B plot showing up to fight Carnage.
But no, I think the writers are too incompetent and they're too scared to to diverse with their storytelling. So they want to stick to what's familiar because the first movie got exceptionally well criticism. Like, it wasn't great, it wasn't bad, but it's got potential out there.
The only reason why it like got pretty well criticism, it's because they did extremely well with putting out a symbiote movie using Venom as their title and not involving Spider-Man whatsoever.
And
that's why
bringing a
it
new
did
one
very
in.
well. Yeah.
Which I didn't really care for the man-made symbiote, but honestly, it was better than Carnage in this movie, and it pisses me off.
Okay, it's funny. It's funny though with the man-made symbiote because I wish they like go further into that. That would have been cool.
Oh yeah.
Because there's this whole Carnage story where Reed Richards, the Mr. Fantastic guy,
Yeah.
he is like developing synthetic symbiotes and all this stuff, and they all have these like pre-programmed codexes and stuff. So Carnage wants to like infiltrate like wherever he works at and eat them all so he can gain all this power so he can try and communicate with Null.
Yeah.
And like reactivate him and stuff. And there's this really cool thing where Venom has to team up with Spider-Man and like a few other heroes to like stop him because Carnage is just like on this like rage of getting all these powers really fast. So like I feel like that could have been an interesting storyline, but they haven't included the Fantastic Four. But like that would have been really neat.
I just wanted to put this out there. The first Venom movie stole the plot from the fourth Transformers movie.
No way.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Because in the fourth Transformers movie, it was about Optimus and the gang, the Autobots, figuring out that humans are making their own Transformers.
Oh.
From those little cubes.
Yeah.
They like pull them all together to make a robot and car form and shit.
Yeah.
This is the exact same thing, just symbiote.
Well, that's fine. I don't think anything's like really like original at this point.
No,
it's just kind of whatever your own blend is.
For sure. It was now when I talked about that movie with people, nobody said that. But like while I was watching that movie, I was like, "This is Transformers 4."
This is Transformers 4. One thing that we had discussed really hard about that got cut off from it, but we can bring it up again. The fight scene in the church. Jason said, I think we actually cut him off. No, he ended up telling us, but I want him to tell us again. The scene in the church when it's all about done and the warden wakes up with the blue eyes. Every single one of us in the theater at the time were all like, "What is that?
Yeah, it made no sense.
What's happening?
What the fuck?"
Okay, yeah. So Shriek has this other ability that they didn't really show in the movie. But in the comics, she has this thing where when she screeches at somebody, she also has like low-level psionic abilities. So she can like reach into the furthest depths of like someone's mind and like somewhat mind control them through like persuasion of like messing with their emotions. So I think that's because she got stuck under the bell, right?
Yeah, she got crushed
So
under the bell.
I don't think she got crushed, right? Because the bell landed with like the dome part over her.
Oh, okay.
So I think she's alive, and he's gonna be somewhat controlled by her, but I don't know what they're really gonna do with that.
Okay.
It made me mad because it's like, do they expect me to figure out instantly, like, oh yeah, this is what that is?
Yeah, they never really explained that. I think
that's not bad.
I think they wanted it to be a mystery because if so, what Jason's saying makes sense. Because if they wanted to include her again some point in the future and having the warden wake up with blue eyes all of a sudden for no reason and then it cutting away, it leaves the fan base wondering, what was that? Why was that a thing? Why that happened? And then when the next movie comes out, it shows her, and everyone's like, what? I thought she was dead. And then the warden comes out with the blue eyes, and then people can start putting the pieces together.
What if?
Oh, I left the party.
You know how amazing it would be.
Hold on,
Yeah.
tell Jason to stop.
You know how amazing it would be if the next Venom movie were to come out?
Jason, wait, hold on. Repeat yourself real quick. For some reason, I got kicked from the party.
Oh, it was nothing crazy. It was just
Okay.
yeah, I didn't say anything like too big. Don't worry
Okay.
about
It'd be
it.
hilarious if the next Venom movie came out and the Warden is like the villain in that movie, but he's just this Ghostbuster style villain, like nothing to do with anything we've seen before. He's just like possessed, just
He's just
instantly
possessed.
possessed for some reason. Has nothing to do with anything we've seen before.
He just goes around slapping people and running off. That's all he does.
Venom 3, Let There Be Licking.
And then I had brought it up before. I don't know if it's included, but the fact that Venom ate Carnage at the end of it, I feel like that leaves potential of Carnage maybe being able to come back.
Maybe.
Because Venom is now a part, or Carnage is now a part of Venom.
He always was.
Yeah, but and like, who says that it's not going to happen again? And then I don't want to jump too deep into that topic because I want you to explain our favorite part of the whole movie, the big.
Oh,
hype
the ending
moment.
for sure. Like
Yeah.
the end credits scene is by far the favorite part of the movie, other than when Cletus and Eddie are having that emotional scene at the end of the movie where he's like holding Cletus about to kill him. He like unveils fucking Venom's face to show his. Eddie's like, I'm sorry, I didn't want it to end this way, Cletus. He was like, well, I didn't want it to end this way either, but you need to understand, you only wrote about the bad things about me. You never wrote about how I was a scared little kid who never got loved. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, Eddie. And then Venom's face comes back. He's like, fuck this guy! And he just eats his head and
Just
throws the
devour
body. I was like, alright, that's pretty great. After that, though, the credits roll. Happy ending. They're on a beach now, and Venom gets to feel the fucking sand between his toes for whatever god reason he wanted to do that.
It's because at some point in the movie he was like, I want to feel the wind in my hair and sand in between my toes.
Yeah. Movie ends, credits roll, and freaking pops in with them in a fucking really trashy apartment.
And like fucking, like some Asia town somewhere.
Some subtown somewhere. Anyway, they're out of bed, and freaking
Bangkok.
Venom and Eddie are love talking in bed, and he's like, hey, baby, you love me? And Eddie's like, sure, I love you. He's like, since you love me so much, think I could penetrate your mind with some of my knowledge of the universe? And he's like, no. And he was like, come on.
Wait, you
Only
got
take-
it reversed.
Nope.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, I'll only tear your mind apart
No,
partly.
Venom-
And he's like, nope, I don't want any of my mind torn apart. And Venom's like, well, fine, I'll just give you a part of my knowledge that won't tear your mind apart. And
No,
then
you got
he's
that
like,
flip, dude.
3,
Kevin.
2.
Wait, Kevin.
It's a joke, you dickhead.
I didn't know that.
You fucking ass.
You're just sitting
ruining
here.
it.
Wait, how is it supposed to be a joke if you're just gonna keep going all the way to the
It's
end?
a bit.
Well, you ruined it. No.
No. No, go ahead. Talk. Do
No,
your thing.
no, you were telling the story backwards.
No,
I didn't know if you knew that because you weren't like relaying information that you were.
No, Eddie and Venom start talking, blah, 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 knowledge stuff, and then he just gets sent to another dimension or some shit.
This podcast is taking 2 weeks, Cameron. Let him go.
Okay,
It's fine.
And then they teleport to another dimension or some shit, and then the TV turns on. There's a broadcast of Jonah Jameson from fucking Far From Home on the TV. He's like, oh, Peter Parker Spider-Man. And he licks the screen, and bam.
You see Spider-Man licks the screen. So back on that topic I was talking about like Carnage being a part of Venom again, and could possibly... There could be a Cletus Cassidy in this universe. Carnage could become a thing again. Venom is in that universe. I don't know. It's a really thrown out there idea, but if they ended up doing that, then they can include all the stuff that Jason was talking about that Carnage has extra in there. Not only that, but then they can tie in Carnage with Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. It could give Venom a reason to work with Spider-Man, yada yada, so on and so forth. They could do a lot if they did that, but who knows if they're actually gonna. Because not only that, they would bring back a good villain, and they'd have a chance to rewrite the story and get more fans involved into it.
Yeah, but Venom's gonna be in the new Spider-Man.
Which I found hilarious that they did not include the actor for Eddie Brock into the casting until Venom was released.
Yeah.
If you would look it up, it wouldn't include it at all. And I guess, Kevin, you were saying the other day that there was a picture floating around the internet of Tobey Maguire with Andrew Garfield standing around together in their old Spider-Man suits.
Nah, just Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in their suits, like on sets.
Just on sets?
Yeah.
Okay. Together or just on a set?
Separate. They were separate
Okay.
in the pictures, but I don't know if like same set or not.
Gotcha.
But that was a fucking Venom movie,
Yeah.
and I hated it.
Obviously.
Wow.
I didn't like.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I
like
think it
I've
made
said
more
before,
sense.
if you like the first one, you'd like this one.
Pretty bad.
Too bad I didn't.
Too bad I didn't.
Can't like it anymore. Sick of this movie. Sick of talking about this movie. I'm sick
All
of
right. Cameron and I
freaking
rated it
Venom.
a 7 out of 10. Kevin rated it a -2 out of 10.
No, it's a 5. Fuck this
You
movie.
I think Kevin actually means 6 because that ending is pretty nice. But because no matter how bad the movie was through and through, me and Kevin both had nerd freakout moments in that movie.
Yeah.
Well,
He was sitting
the
next to
break
someone.
scenes
Oh, that
by
the prison
themselves
break
make it a
scenes
5
were
out
really
of 10.
good. Yeah. The prison break scenes were really good. Those were awesome.
Prison break scene was my favorite, other than the end credit scene.
The end credit scene. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yes, sir.
it's real neat. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I wonder if Venom. Do you think Venom's gonna detach from Eddie and just stick on to Spider-Man and be like, "No, I want this guy."
I think that one way or another, Spider-Man and Venom are gonna team up.
Yeah. I know they're gonna team up. eventually,
Spider-Man
but
and Venom are gonna team up.
just Venom, not with Eddie. Like Venom and Eddie with Spider-Man, or do you
Yeah,
think
I'm
Venom
sure.
and Spider-Man?
I'm sure Venom's not just gonna leave Eddie on the side and be like, "Fuck you, dude."
Dude, you never know. He did in the second movie.
Spider-Man's not gonna let him eat heads.
Yeah.
You think Eddie Brock was a problem for him?
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man could actually take him down. There's no way.
No way.
No way in hell.
You want to fight?
Yeah,
No.
I've been waiting. There's a new fucking Nickelodeon Star Trek show, and I need to fucking watch it.
I will have to say though, I did appreciate this interpretation of Venom that I did from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 Venom
It's
movie.
just an animal.
Yeah, I didn't like that very much. I didn't like that Venom was just an animal, that Eddie Brock was the one talking through him the entire time. I didn't like that Venom didn't have his own, like, mental capacity to speak, and he was just an angry boy.
This Venom would take down that Venom
Oh, in a
any
heartbeat, dude.
day.
Not only that, but because that other Venom was also really tiny.
It was tiny.
Yeah, he was really small. The only part about him that actually looked like Venom was the scene when Tobey Maguire surrounds him with the pipes and he starts clinging all of them, and you see like the symbiote like reach up and scream. That's the only part that
Yeah.
actually looked like a good Venom.
Yeah. Why do they
Wow.
all have long tongues though?
Because they all
I
started
don't-
from Kiss.
I don't know that reason, but I do know why they drool a lot.
Why do they drool?
Why do they drool a lot? Yeah.
Symbiotes drool a lot because they don't have a way to excrete what they eat, so it comes out in the form of saliva. So
That's
their
neat.
saliva is basically piss and poop. That's how they excrete what they eat.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's their waste.
So you're telling me the reason why Carnage was all pussy
Yeah,
was because that was his excrement?
yeah. All the saliva that comes out of those symbiotes' mouth when they open and like
That
that's them
5 was too
shitting.
generous, going down to a 2.
But yeah, I had read that the other day, and I was like, "Huh, that's actually quite fascinating." Because they don't have a way to. So
Venom or Free Guy?
free guy.
I'd go Venom.
Venom. Yeah.
Are you talking about first Venom or Carnage?
Well, like the movie we're
Both.
talking about.
Yeah, you're talking about Carnage. I don't know. I think I'd prefer Free Guy over Carnage just because of all the. Because Free Guy didn't have to base itself off something.
Carnage kept my interests harder than Free Guy did. After I just got too annoyed with.
I enjoyed
Free
the
Guy.
comedy aspect. There's a difference between how you portray comedy. Venom wasn't it. Free Guy was.
Free Guy was alright. It didn't have any moments where I was like, that's hilarious, but it was like,
no, it just
it
made
was
me like giggle.
that's
Hey,
neat.
Yeah. Hey, little
Carnage or Venom had a moment where I was like, that's funny.
Which
Like,
one?
but it was the fucking scene after the fight and everything.
Oh,
With
fuck
Cletus
this guy.
and Venom, yeah.
I hope they bring.
That made me laugh.
I hope they bring back Cletus Cassidy, because that
They're
actor-
not gonna do it.
You never know, dude. They're in a different universe. You don't
It
know.
would be a different actor.
No, they better not.
Be
That
a
guy did
different
such a good
actor.
job. That sucked.
Alright, but if we're talking to all three Spider-Men, toe-to-toe in a free-for-all battle, Andrew Garfield,
That's gonna
Tobey
be a different
Maguire, and
topic.
Tom Holland.
That's gonna be another podcast.
It's Tom Holland. Are we allowing technology? Because it's Tom Holland.
We're allowing whatever we allow when we get into that topic, baby.
Yeah.
On our next episode of the Pipeline
Dragon
Podcast.
Balls. Oh.
Dragon Balls.
See you later, folks.